Okay, so to recap where we were at on the last video, so you've gone out and you found a property, you've identified a property at 250,000 is what it's listed for, and we've got an idea of what those closing costs are going to be. We've calculated those out to a rough estimate of 50 to 89 and 21 cents, and obviously they can very easily change based on what we've already talked about. So now we are going to put in an offer on this property. The property has been listed at 250,000 dollars. So that's the listing price. We'll do LP. So the listing price is $250,000. So that's what this seller obviously is willing to list the house for. Now, what does that mean? Well, in your respective market, at times you might offer more than the listing price. At times you might offer less than the listing price. And really what you want to do is just get a good feel of the value of what the property is worth. So looking at sales around the house, if there's one sale, that a very similar house that sold for 260,000, then one would suggest, and if it was a recent sale, one would suggest that the market can support a $260,000 price. So really you just want to work with your real estate agent on how exactly you should offer and what amount you should offer for this property. So let's say you pull comparables, and basically in analyzing the market, you found other sales in the area that actually would support a $260,000 value, and ultimately you're going to get an appraisal done on the property, and that will also help determine what the property is worth. But what the property is worth versus what you want to offer for the property could be two different things. You might have a motivated seller. I mean, there's many different things that go into what the ultimate price will be. But moving forward, so we've decided that the property is worth 260,000. It's listed at 250. So you have a couple options on how to put in this offer. You can offer $250,000 and ask for no closing costs, which would basically net the same result. You'd still net 200. It'd be a $250,000 sale. Another option that you have would be to offer more money for the property and then ask for your closing costs, and we'll kind of get to this right now. So basically if we offer, so this is going to be offer one, and then over here we're going to put offer two, and we're going to go kind of light. We'll go into more details on these as we move forward. But offer one is going to be a $250,000 offer, and we're going to ask for zero money towards closing costs, right? So if you're going to put 5% down, you'd be coming in with 12,500 down. So the loan amount would be $237,500. So this is our new loan amount financed, and then cash to close is going to be this 12,500, right? Plus your closing costs, because they're not paying any closing costs. So plus this 5289, right? So your total cash to close, if we pull that up, 12,500 plus 5289. So our total cash to close is 17,789. So 17,789, and that's what you have to come cash to close with. Now another way that we could structure an offer, and really it's the same offer to the seller, is to offer 255,000 and then ask for 5,000 towards closing costs and prepaids, and you want to make sure you put and prepaids in there, because if you limit it to closing costs, then you won't be able to pay for all the taxes, insurance, interest, all of this up here. So with that, your new down payment, because the sales price is going to be $255,000, so a new down payment would be 5% of that, so $12,750. So your down payment goes up, by $250, and then that puts your new loan amount at, subtract, so 255,000 minus 12750. So your loan amount is 242,250. So 242. So this is your loan amount. So your payment, your loan amount's obviously higher because you're basically financing in these closing costs. But in addition, so now we've gotten 5,000 paid for your closing costs. So your closing cost to you is only $289.21. So we total this up, plus your down payment, right? And your total savings at closing, or your total amount at closing on this, is $13,379. So if we subtract that from $17,789, so you're saving, so $13,389, right? Whoops. So $13,389, right? So your cash to close is only, you're going to be saving $4,749. So this is in your pocket, $4,749, and this is cash straight to you. So we talk about depleting and being comfortable in depleting your down payment and any funds that you have. This option right here will basically keep close to $5,000 in your pocket, and it's the same amount to the seller. So whether you're dealing with a bank or a short sale, yes, some of them might not do this, but at the same time, it's the same net price. They're getting $250,000 here. They're getting $250,000 here. So as far as how we I guess the only time when you wouldn't do this, and where it could come back to basically to affect the deal, is again, we're basing this off a $260,000 appraised value. So on a purchase, when you go and purchase the property, basically you would need this to appraise at $255,000. So you've said that the house is worth $260,000. And based on that, you'd feel pretty comfortable offering $255,000 because you think it'll appraise at $260,000, which would mean you'd still have equity in the property, and you'd still be able to basically to finance it into the loan and save yourself that out-of-pocket expense. And moving forward in the next video, we're going to talk about basically different ways that we can structure this centered around your interest rate, and using the interest rate to pay for closing costs. So if you didn't get the seller to pay for closing costs, or say this property only appraised at $250,000. Well, now if we offer $255,000, we're offering over the appraised value, and that's going to be an issue with the bank. So you're still going to be coming in with that difference, that $5,000 difference. So we can only structure in these closing costs if we know that the house will appraise for more. So to just recap, as far as your offers, this is one way where if you're limited on funds to close, you can make sure to structure this to basically include paying for your closing costs. And the difference in payment, you're going to be financing a little bit more money, so your payment might be a little bit higher. But aside from that, really you're able to keep money in your pocket. Okay, so to recap where we were at on the last video, so you've gone out and you found a property, you've identified a property at 250,000 is what it's listed for, and we've got an idea of what